whether it was in your U.S. Studies class or doing your homework. We have several students who have written reflections that they want to share with you first, and I'm going to share a reflection with you, and I think that will be it. Ava?
Yep.
Oh.
Hi.
Go first.
My dad, Ava Kallunki, served in Iraq in 2005 as the commander of a 13-man bodyguard team. They protected high-level dignitaries, and he was awarded the Bronze Star for that portion of his service. Obviously, since I'm here today, my dad made it back to the United States, but I can't even begin to imagine what it would be like if he was still serving today and was killed in the line of duty, like all the men and women buried here today. Although Section 60 is immense proof of the sacrifices and tragedy of war, we should try to think about what kind of a place we would live in if all of the soldiers in this cemetery hadn't died so we might have the freedoms that we do today. The things we often take for granted, like our freedom, are the things we need to take into consideration and be thankful for. Thank you.
We are here today at Section 60 Arlington National Cemetery, the newest section that honors the soldiers who passed from recent wars, such as the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, to honor the fallen. Being here to me means a lot because the brave people who are buried here died very recently. Even if you are not here for the loss of a loved one, I think that our responsibility here today is to be good citizens. We should practice and portray being good citizens all the time, but Section 60 is a place to especially use the skills we learned about how to be a good citizen. So today, please act with respectfulness towards these very brave soldiers who have fallen in order to protect us and our country. Thank you.
Here at Section 60, it holds some of the most selfless and brave people that have ever walked on American soil. Every soldier here has defended our Constitution and has helped make the world a better place. These soldiers represent the perfect American, selfless, fearless, and ready to take on any challenge that they face, even if it means they need to give up their life for it. Here at Section 60, it is young people who stepped up, and even if we do not have a person here who we know who died, as a good citizen, we need to act like all these people are our family and treat this area and this entire cemetery with respect. As we walk through Section 60, let's think about all the soldiers who have sacrificed their lives and think about what things we can do as citizens to honor the fallen and carry on the legacy of the young, brave men and women who have served this country. Thank you.
Section 60 to me is the land of the young, brave souls who fought from beginning to end. These brave men and women who are buried here come from the recent wars of Afghanistan and Iraq. The main thing for me that makes this place so special is that the people buried here are mostly younger than 30. They are all willing to put forth their lives to fight for America's humanity, and at the cost of it being cut short. That's why we really need to think about visiting not only Section 60, but all these war memorials. Whether these memorials are for the young or the old, the brave or the fearful, the men or the women, every single one of these soldiers fought brave, fought hard, and fought for the sake of others. Thank you.
Okay.
At Section 60, we remember the soldiers who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. This section holds a special place in my heart as my dad, Staff Sergeant Tim Ehlers, served in Operation Iraqi Freedom with the U.S. Army from 2005 to 2006. He led a team of 10 men and was a convoy escort commander, protecting 30 trucks on a main supply route. On August 7, 2006, his truck was hit by an explosive device and he received a Purple Heart for his injuries. The men and women buried before us should be a reminder of the sacrifices of the few for the many. These brave soldiers have sacrificed and served so that we could be here and enjoy the freedoms that we have. So I ask as you walk through here to remember and respect those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Thank you.
Your reflections and your bravery for speaking in front of your classmates. I still get nervous talking in front of everybody, so well done. In your homework for this trip or in my class on Memorial Day, you may remember that we talked about Corporal Kareem, and this is his grave here, and we'll all have a chance to walk by it as we leave this section today. But I wanted, for those of you who maybe didn't hear about his story or didn't do your homework, those kinds of things, just to get a chance to hear a little bit about him. Kareem was 14 years old and living in New Jersey in 2001 when the terrorist attacks on 9/11 happened. He felt so strongly that as a Muslim American, he wanted to show that many like him were willing to lay down their lives to protect and serve his beloved nation. He enlisted immediately after he graduated from high school and was deployed to Iraq in July 2006. In August 2007, he finally came home and now rests in Arlington National Cemetery in Section 60. During his short time in service, he received a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart and was promoted posthumously to Corporal. In 2008, Colin Powell highlighted Kareem's legacy from an article he had seen in the New Yorker, and on the televised program Meet the Press, he acknowledged Kareem's message to everyone, that Muslim Americans can fight for their country proudly and even lay down their life if needed. He is a true hero. He was a loving and caring person, and he always put his friends, family, and just about anyone who needed help first. He loved children. Someday he dreamed of having his own. When he was deployed, his fellow soldiers described him as someone who always gave his best to every job he performed and was always prepared to help others when he finished his duties. Kareem was always smiling no matter what was going on. Some of his passions included sports, most especially his great love for the Dallas Cowboys. His true idol was Muhammad Ali, who he also met. He loved to cook and watch the Food Network, learning new recipes to make for his mom. Pepper shrimp was his specialty. So Ethan has a photograph that you've all seen of his mom beside his grave. And 6 years ago I met her here, and we've stayed in touch since then. I check in with her every Memorial Day because we talk about Kareem in class, and I want her to know that we've been talking about him. And she always, the last message I sent her was last week, and I told her we'd be coming out here, and she wanted you all to know that she's proud of you for being here, for putting thought into this. And when I met her 6 years ago, I had previously been talking about him in the classroom with that photograph, and I asked her if there's anything that she would like me to make sure that I tell my students every year. And this is what she said. Kareem loved everybody. He didn't care about your race or religion or anything. He loved to smile and he loved to make people happy. So that's what his mom wants you to know and remember about him. So as we walk through this and leave today, I want you to think that every single headstone that you see out here has a story like that. And as you read the names and you see the dates and you see their awards and their medals and their recognitions and where they were, there's a story behind that individual and a story behind the loved ones that they left behind. And that's what we're talking about when we discuss the humanity of war. I also want you to think about that question that I probably annoyed you with this year. What does it mean to be a thoughtfully engaged citizen? We can't make up for what these people have given us, but I think we owe it to them to pay attention to what we ask them to do and to think deeply about how our military engages with the world. So we're at a point where my conversation that I've been having with students for the last 13 years has shifted a little bit because we've mostly withdrawn from Iraq and Afghanistan, but we still continue fighting a war on terror, and our country's been at war your entire lives. As long as you've been alive, and you look at the dates that some of these individuals died on, they're dates that have been since you've been alive, right, in your lifetimes. Most of you, not all of you, you heard 3 classmates share about family members who served. So some students are very directly impacted, but most of us are not. Most of us, to us, it's normal, it's without consequence, and that's what I want us to think, is that this is not without consequence. As we reflect here, and at the other memorials we go to the rest of this week that we're here together, I want you to think deeply about the human consequences of the wars that we wage, both on the people here and in the places that we fight. It's a lot more than video games. It's a lot more than the cool weapons that we like to look at pictures and watch videos of. It's a lot more than the flyovers at the pregame ceremonies for a football game, right? We need to understand the power that we have as citizens and the gravity of the decisions that we make as a country.